little quote for myself. I made this up. I probably stole it from somewhere. What separates where you are now and where you want to be is your systems and your standards. Because now we're going to move to standards.
Yeah.
And I'm going to encourage everyone to raise their standards.
Yep.
All of us, me included. I know there's things I can do in my day-to-day that I could lift to another level. You know, I'm aware of it. And I know everyone else is as well. So when I say standards, to me, that means who you want to be, who you're working towards, you know? And low standards are subpar day-to-day living, poor diet, bad sleep, random workouts, too much alcohol, maybe prioritizing your social life over your own goals, and then wondering why you feel frustrated and a little bit empty, and you haven't had an assessment of like your values as a person and tried to line up your day-to-day living in order to reflect those. And then thinking about how to raise your standards, who do you want to be and what are they doing with their sleep, activity, training, diet, social life, careers? It's like there's your framework. If you feel a little bit out of alignment, you feel a little bit frustrated, or you've just fucking had enough.
Yeah.
You've had enough of whatever it is that you're living right now. And the best thing about this is like, it's not just exclusive to fitness.
No.
It's not just exclusive to changing your physique.
Yeah.
It's like, you can do this
everywhere.
Like if you're not getting somewhere in your career, your life, or whatever, it's like, well, what is a version of me that has a family or has a career or what are they doing? Who do they hang out with? Do they exercise?
Yeah.
Do they do some form of, self work? What is their training? What's their diet look like? Are they getting fucked up every weekend and just leaning on takeout? Maybe they actually learn how to cook.
Yeah.
Maybe they eat foods that are less processed, not necessarily non-processed.
Yeah.
So what I would say to everyone now as an activity is create a non-negotiable list for yourself, thinking about those things.
Yep.
So it's like you have a level of standard for your career and yourself that you know what a day looks like to win.
Yep.
So off the top of your head, main areas, what would they be? Maybe just specifically for your goals, like for your training.
So for training?
Yeah. So your physique, let's say.
Yeah. Meals?
Yep.
Sleep?
Yep.
Train?
Yep.
They're the core.
Meal, sleep, train. Yeah. Activity, possibly.
Steps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then within that, do you have a spectrum of, say, a B+ to an A+?
Yeah.
Because what I would suggest as well.
So like my base standard would be I eat the same 4 meals every day, 5 meals every day.
Yeah.
Meal 6 is the variable.
Yeah.
So for me, and then I'd like, because it's the same, I'm not necessarily tracking it. But the variable is big.
Yeah, yeah.
How much that swings. So if I was to say I need to improve my standard to improve the outcomes, right now, that's probably the biggest swing.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, that one now gets tracked. It all gets tracked, but that one is now repeatable.
Yeah.
And then probably the weekend variance. How far does that swing?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a non-negotiable list? Is that just like getting to the gym?
Non-negotiables, protein.
Yeah.
Training. They're probably the two.
Yeah. So it's just like no matter what, like they have to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the same. Mine's the gym. Fuck, man. For me to miss a workout, that's be like a significant personal tragedy.
Yeah.
Because I just know, I know for me, the training's the catalyst to all of the other good things happening. Like, if life in the gym is good for me, usually everything else is great.
Yeah.
Where if things aren't good in the gym, most things aren't great overall,
Yeah.
And I always use the gym as the place where I can win, and when all the demons are coming out and all life's throwing whatever it is at you, you're like, I'm always like, go to the gym.
Yeah.
You know, so I know that's a non-negotiable for me. Protein's the same. So yeah, like I would say, create this list of things of what a perfect day looks like. Have non-negotiables within that, because like the perfect day is not going to happen all the time. And we're going to talk about that on the next episode as well. It's just like how to mold these things into your life and be a high achiever and still life, you know. But if you don't know, if you don't have those systems, if you don't have awareness, if you don't know where you're going, and you don't know, you're not trying to model a person that is of a higher standard than yourself, that is why you feel stuck. Yeah. Like you can go to the gym 1,000,000 times a week, but everything else is not being modeled off this like higher version of yourself. Most people kind of know where those holes are as well. So there's going to be a lot of honest conversations with people's selves now. And every now and then, like even just throughout this week, I'm like, I can do better here. Like even just once I mapped out this schedule, I was like just trying to look at areas. I'm like, you're acting up here. Like you're, you know, there's room for this. So if you're not happy with your results, like you've got to draw back to this moment and be like, this is the gap, you know, but you don't necessarily have to just fill it at the time, you know, because I'm enjoying a little bit of flexibility at the moment because, you know, it's like I'm trying to grow, like there's food, there's this, but then I'm like, all right, when you're not happy with how things are going, like you can come back here. Like if you feel empty, unfulfilled, frustrated, like, okay, cool. Time to raise your standards. Time to rework your systems. Time to get more honest with yourself. Like I feel like those things are a little snapshot for the people at home into the mindsets of a version of themselves that is probably further down the road than them or shows up more often than they do now. So practical takeaways. What are we doing? Oh, I'm killing it for time. So practical takeaways I have. What are your non-negotiables for your standards? Hit them every day. What systems do you need weekly and daily to ensure your success? So weekly it would be something like your meal prep. Let's say, for example, your calendar, training schedule, do that weekly. And then you've got your daily, your sleep, your training routine, your warm-ups, those types of things. Give yourself scope for a bad day to a great day. So like, if I'm having the worst day ever, what are still those non-negotiables so that I can win? So
that's huge.
Protein, we just spoke about. Massive. Because you still, like, even in the worst day, I didn't get to the gym, I didn't do this, I didn't do that.
Sleep shit, whatever.
But I still hit my protein. Like, I still did something that, and we talk about it from a coaching perspective, like, winning is a big fucking deal. And it's like, you know, as a coach, when someone comes to you and says, I don't have a victory at all last week. You're like, yeah, you do. Like, you eat your protein. Like, you know, even we were in Q&A the other day, I have nothing. And it's like, yes, you do. And then they're like, oh, yeah, I did this. It's like, everybody does. So you want to draw people's attention to those things. And you're like, cool. So you won with the protein last week. Last week, the workouts got away from you. This week, let's get back in the gym.
That's the step.
Get the 4 sessions or whatever it is. And all of a sudden, like, we got that momentum. And 2-3 weeks later, we feel unstoppable again. You know, so huge stuff.